A victim of the post office scam has demanded the removal of a renowned attorney from overseeing Horizon reparations programs. Lee Castleton, a former sub-postmaster, described Roderick Williams as conflicted. When the post office was bringing charges against sub-postmasters, Mr. Williams worked as a litigation attorney there. Separately, it was revealed during a continuing investigation that Mr. Williams had called a campaigner who attempted to highlight flaws in the Horizon program in 2015 a bluffer. On the basis of inaccurate data from the post office's Horizon IT system, hundreds of sub-postmasters were falsely convicted of charges including theft and fraudulent accounting between 1999 and 2015. It's still very adversarial because the people in the process of giving redress are people who have been involved in probably the last 10 or 15 years of post office problems, Mr. Castleton remarked in an interview with the BBC on the compensation procedure. This person continues to be the principal attorney. He must be taken out. I don't think you could be more conflicted than he is. He just has to be taken out of the process because he is conflicted in so many different ways. It needs to be done by an independent person and the victims don't need to be traumatized anymore, Mr. Castleton continued. After working his way up, Mr. Williams is now the post office's head of legal for brand and dispute resolution. This department deals with restitution, compensation, and appeals from sub-postmasters. However, in order to react to demands for legal information, he has transferred my redress responsibilities to other lawyers within the unit's legal team from April 2022, according to his witness testimony to the investigation into the post office crisis. Mr. Castleton stated that there should hopefully some accountability at the end point of the investigation, but he did not advocate for Mr. Williams to lose his position. Former Bridlington Post Office sub-postmaster Mr. Castleton attempted to defend himself in the High Court against charges of embezzlement, but he lost and went bankrupt. The ITV drama Mr. Bates vs. the Post Office told his story. Separately on Thursday, the investigation heard how Mr. Williams had called Tim McCormick, a former sub-postmaster and activist, a bluffer, in an email from 2015. Paula Venables, the then chief executive of the Post Office, received a letter from Mr. McCormick. During an inquiry hearing, he made the offer to present clear and unquestionable evidence of an intermittent bug in Horizon in his email. In an October 2015 letter, Mr. McCormick stated that the virus can and does cause sub-postmasters to lose thousands of pounds. A branch in your network is currently experiencing a 5-figure loss. There is no money. Not the operator, but the system itself entered multiple one-sided transactions incorrectly, which is why it happened. It was a last chance, according to Mr. McCormick, for Ms. Venables to acknowledge that what I have been telling you these last few years is true. He said he would show her the proof he had gathered and take her to the branch. In response, Mr. Williams wrote on an email thread at the time, in the same terms that we have every other person who has said they have evidence of flaws, in a letter to the post office. In general, I think this guy is a bluffer who always wants us to follow his lead. I don't think we should do so, but instead respond with a straight bat. Mr. Williams explained that the post office need to respond to his, Mr. McCormick's, inbound inquiries seriously and appropriately. When questioned about the meaning of the phrase, he said that because Mr. McCormick was telling Mr. Williams that you have options, or else, he was a bluffer. Still, Mr. Williams claimed he remembered meeting Mr. McCormick to try and understand the issue in the branch with former post office official Angela van den Bogert.